trolling my obnoxious loud roommate. My roommate Sarah spends literally 10 hours a day on phone calls in our dorm. And when I say loud, I mean you can probably hear her from the parking lot. She's got this thing where she makes these insane mouth noises when she laughs, like this weird high-pitched squealing mixed with this clicking sound. It's absolutely brutal. The first week of school, Sarah sat me down and was like, I really need our dorm to be a quiet space most of the day. I have trouble focusing when there's noise, so I need you to be respectful of that. I said, sure, no problem. I'm pretty quiet anyway. But then literally that same night, she's on FaceTime with her boyfriend screaming about something that happened at Target. I'm talking full volume, like the kind of loud where you're not even sure if she's mad or excited. This went on until 2 in the morning. I had an 8 a.m. class the next day. I barely slept. The next morning, I very politely asked if she could maybe keep the calls down at night since I had early classes. She looked at me like I'd asked her to stop breathing and went, I'll try. But then that night, same thing. Loud phone call until 1 a.m. Over the next 2 months, I asked her probably 15 times to please be quieter. I tried everything. I asked nicely. I explained I had 8 a.m. classes 4 days a week. I even tried suggesting she take calls in the common room. Every single time she'd say, okay, sure, and then change absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, if I so much as opened a bag of chips, she'd glare at me like I was setting off fireworks. One time I was typing an essay at like 9 p.m. and she told me my keyboard was too loud and asked if I could go work somewhere else. But she could scream into her phone at midnight and that was totally fine apparently. I was losing my mind. I was falling asleep in class. My grades were starting to slip. I'd lie in bed at 1 a.m. listening to her cackle into her phone about some drama with her friend's ex-boyfriend, making those horrible mouth noises, and I just wanted to scream. That's when I decided I was done being nice. If she wasn't going to respect me, I wasn't going to tiptoe around her anymore. So I came up with a plan. Every single time she started screaming on a call, I'd start singing. And here's the thing, I'm in the university choir. I've been singing since I was like 6. I've got this super high-pitched mezzo-soprano voice that can get really loud when I want it to. The first time I did it, Sarah was on the phone with her boyfriend going on about something. She let out one of those awful squealing laughs, and I just started belting out the highest note I could hit. She stopped mid-sentence and stared at me. I just smiled and kept going. She tried to continue her conversation, but I was hitting notes that made her cover her ears. She finally took her call outside, but she came back 20 minutes later and started up again. So I grabbed my guitar. I play guitar pretty seriously. I'm not amazing, but I'm decent enough that people actually like listening to me. Sarah knew this because she'd seen me practicing before. So when she started her next screaming session, I started playing and singing loud. She couldn't even say anything because she knew I took music seriously. If she complained, I could just say I was practicing for choir, which technically I was. She tried to talk over me, but I just kept going. Eventually she huffed and went into the hallway. But my absolute favorite thing to do was call my friend Mike on Discord. We'd been wanting to play this game called Postal 2 together for weeks. It's this absolutely insane game where you play as this guy who's just trying to run errands, but everything goes completely wrong. The dialogue in this game is absolutely unhinged. So every time Sarah started screaming on her calls, I'd call Mike and we'd start playing. Sarah would be in her bed yelling about her day, and I'd be at my desk going, okay, so I need to rob this bank because the line is way too long. Or Mike would be like, if you pee on this guy, music starts playing and he'll dance. The game is genuinely disturbing and hilarious. Sarah would shoot me these death glares, but I'd just keep playing. One time she was particularly loud, and Mike said through Discord, dude, I think I only killed like 800 people on my first run. That's kind of weak. Sarah's friend on FaceTime literally asked if she had a serial killer as a roommate. The best part was I still followed all the actual quiet hours rules. Floor quiet hours started at 11 p.m., and I made sure I was never too loud during those times. I kept my gaming at a reasonable volume so neighbors couldn't hear. But Sarah, she'd be screaming at 2 a.m. without a care in the world. After about 2 weeks of my trolling, Sarah started taking all her calls outside or in the common room. She'd come back to the dorm and just glare at me, but she couldn't say anything because everything I was doing was completely reasonable. I was practicing music, I was playing games with my friend, all normal dorm activities. One night, she tried to start a screaming call at like 10 p.m., and I immediately pulled out my guitar. She looked at me, looked at her phone, and walked out of the room without saying a word. I finally started sleeping through the night again.